Actually, I don't think, support for the government is in short supply from the people as we speak, because we're getting to see them on a daily basis that they are actually in support on the same page with the government in fighting the insurgents in our country. But you've talked so much about 2014 and what may likely happen in 2015. That is why I was trying to see if we have a forecast, and if we have a forecast, how best are we prepared to avert such? It's almost the same way you read the weather and you say, well, it's going to rain. You know, if you're going to go out with your umbrellas or just stay indoors. The vibe we're getting from other parts of the country, specifically the plateau, worries a lot of Nigerians. What do you think is happening there?
You see, the plateau case is actually very, very worrisome because it has defied virtually all known solutions. Since 2000, I think about 2000 when we had the first attack, it's been, between the indigenous, the settlers, and the rest of them. It's now followed by religion. So it's a complex matter. When you talk of ethno-religious crisis, it's very difficult to handle. Well, I think we should be able to coexist culturally.
How can we solve the situation? Because it was only last week that the Commissioner of Police of Plateau State gave an award to a Fulani man who actually saved the life of someone who jumped into his compound. So if we have some few Nigerians or some people in that locality who still see themselves as brothers and they're there for each other, how can we bring to the fore such gallant gesture from some Nigerians to really encourage others to say that, look, truly this man is not an enemy but a brother?
That's the point I just made, that culturally we should coexist, and there's no way we can do it than educating the people, because most of these things are happening just out of illiteracy. If people are enlightened to know that you are as a Nigerian, first of all, we should see ourselves as Nigerians. Whether you are Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo, or nobody, does not really matter, but see yourself as Nigerian. And look at Nigeria as an entity, an inseparable entity. By the time we begin to think Nigeria, not thinking our ethnic nationality, we have I think that also brings to fore the issue of the confab. I think the confab should be able to address some of these problems, especially ethnic based, because everybody wants to coexist. Nobody wants Nigeria to divide. We all believe in Nigeria as a project. Everybody must work to ensure the existence of Nigeria. Forget the process.
Well, the question, sorry, Chamberlain, just before we dwell more on the confab, I just want to quickly ask, concerning that plateau violence, that yes, the ultimate message should be that Nigerians should live as one, but what happens where we've sent security agents there and yet people keep dying?
Now, you see that particular. That's why I say that it has defied all solutions. They have used dialogue. They've set up various panels, set up various committees. Some people come up that the government has no political will to implement some of the recommendations, because if you do in some of the recommendations, some ethnic groups will be favored to the disadvantage of others. So how do you handle it? It becomes a major problem. What I think it must be handled, the leaders, the various religious leaders in that area, and the ethnic leaders, like we have the religious at the national level, where you have the Sultan and the Narek, I guess. I think they should form a committee in the plateau, bring the religious leaders, the ethnic leaders, for them to educate their followers, because that's the only way we can make progress.
Now the followers have been educated. What do you suggest for the communities? What do you think they should do in order to be able to protect lives? Because the last time we saw violence on television from Plateau State, we saw over 30 people being buried in a mass grave. That was just sometime in December last year. It's a very, very sad commentary. What do you think that people or communities can do to protect their, the lives of their fellow villagers being lost in such a dramatic manner?
You see, incidentally, in the plateau, the middle belt, for instance, we have a large concentration of retired military officers and even civilian officers. So the question should be, how do we control the proliferation of arms in that region? That, for a start, the security agencies should devise means of trying to control the proliferation of arms in those areas.
In fact, not just in that region.
Not just in that area.
Our borders.
Our borders,
how it comes into the country.
Because if you don't have the arms to use, you cannot just start wrestling or fighting just because some people have illegal access to arms.
But are we really focusing on ensuring that our borders are not that porous anymore?
Our borders are very, very wide. And it's difficult to man.
Do they give up before they try?
No, that's not to say that government is not making sufficient efforts to control them. You've heard of seizures, arrests made in terms of arms, importation, and the likes. So much as we try, the enemy is also devising means to subvert government efforts. So
is there any government in history? This brings me to this question from Tony. Look, it says, why is it difficult for us to still have a data bank of forensic data in combating crime? Because data is very vital to any development in any country.
Yeah, Chamberlain, you see, I gave you an instance of the airport story. We are developing our data banks. The state security service, all the security agencies are developing, evolving through training, establishing
national data
bank. And I think the National Population Commission, by the time we conduct an effective and efficient census, we should be able, the security agency should be in a position to tap in from their central data through to coordination. I think efforts have been made towards that direction to ensure that we have a central database. It is very critical to maintain security. The issue of GSM, for instance, people are still, the regulatory agency is there, but people are still buying SIMs and using them without registering. And the NCC has come out, you should not sell SIM cards to people who did not register.
But they should be seen to be prosecuting those who are violating that law.
It's not just prosecuting. How many people are going to prosecute? The thing is, they should devise means of ensuring that if you buy a SIM and it's not, it shouldn't work. I think that's the best.
Okay. All right. Thank you for coming on this morning. Mr. Ejiofor is the former director with the SSS.